Alright, you already know, you already read the title. We're gonna just fucking hop right into what we're talking about. Alright, so, today we're talking about the Pokimane and Fitz drama that's been going on for a really long goddamn time. I know I'm late to the party, but some shit came up and I'm here to wrap it all up and talk about it. In the beginning of the fucking document that Fitz decided to release, or it was leaked or something, I don't know. In this he says he didn't know if he wanted to release this, but we're going to talk about it. And we're also going to talk about the text messages between these two furries that are on the document. If you want to read the document, look up 25 page document by Fitz. Or not Fitz. Fuck. Whatever the guy his fuck. Pokimane and shit, I don't know. Fed. Pokimane and Fed. Alright, anyway, before my brain decides to turn off again, we're gonna get into it. Alright? This Foki so he's gonna start off this document by saying this Foki thing, which is him and Pokey, all started as a joke when I made a picture of me and Pokey in my phone background. Why? Because, you know, that's gonna start shit. But anyway, he says that she suggested this, and she wanted to see what kind of reaction they got from the community. They did, and obviously everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're fucking dating, they're fucking each other in the bedroom." But obviously that's not the case because Fed's a little bitch, and well, no, he's not a bitch. Pokey's more of the anyway. We're gonna keep going. There's some fucking text. All right, hang on, give me a minute. I gotta find. All right, so after I deduced this shit like a lawyer over here, I found text messages, and I'm showing Exhibit A, boys. So basically, Fed asked Pokey if he can go upstairs and talk, but we already know what the fuck Fed wants to do. But anyway, Pokey says, "No, I'm really tired, but you can come next time." Fed's like, "Okay." Obviously, next time doesn't come. And then in March of 2018, they have an honest discussion about the direction that they are going, and they decide not to do it anymore. The reasons are they live together, and this could be a problem if things don't work out, and they're board owners of Offline TV, which is the company. Not really a company. Actually, no, it is a company. It's a streamer house with a bunch of streamers. And they decided to slow down and not spend as much time together, but obviously, they did not, because in April or May of 2018, they started FaceTiming a lot, and he basically called Pokimane Babe with Fitz around. This happened in 2018, obviously, and it was an Airbnb for a music festival called EDC. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna keep going. Anyway, they FaceTimed in the morning, and he inadvertently called her babe, and he was around people in the Airbnb, and she called him out on it using languages like that in front of other people, saying that she'd be worried about seeming too coupley in front of others before we actually were, and that we're part of a delicate and gossip-riddled scene. And she would say things like, "I feel like I need to understand the boy scene a little bit more, before being ready to commit, and that we should date around." For me, then, this came out of left field, and he types it out of left field, and I felt pretty stupid. I was hurt by it this time around because I wasn't even remotely interested in anyone else, and I was investing so much time and energy into her in general. I was trying to be understanding, but it brought up a lot of insecurities about myself. Blah blah blah. Fed sad. Then the text messages after that are just them talking about what happened. And then in the next paragraph, he goes, "By now you can tell that there is a cycle of talking again and not talking again. You know, this off and on situation. And every time that they go off, Fed gets super sad. You know, he's in his sad boy hours. And then, when they're on, he's super happy. But then, while we're on that subject, in her stream, she mentions that I would try to manipulate Just Friends, which I think is another streaming group, and try to get them to hate Pokey, when in reality, this is not true, because in bold letters, I'm sorry, your ears are gonna hurt, this is false. And he basically goes over to the Just Friend's house to talk about the issues with Pokey and get a female perspective on what they think Fed should do. Anyway, um, uh, it's just nuts to. He says It's just nuts to hear now. Fuck, I found. It's just nuts to hear now that I was being manipulative and trying to make the girls hate her or leave her out intentionally. That's complete. Sorry for the ears. Bullshit. I just wanted someone to talk to that could guide me through these emotions, and it's also difficult to now hear some of the girls say that they looked at me as a member of OTV, not just as a friend, which honestly is fucked up because they definitely were friends. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a streamer house. The unintentional side effect is that the Just Friends people might have seen her differently. I am deeply sorry, and I wish I was more aware of the repercussions. I do, however, think intentions matter when you're characterizing someone as a manipulator in front of thousands of people, which honestly is very fucking true. And he says if she was really afraid of being alienated, she would have taken the time out of her day to be their friend, but she streamed every day and didn't find the time to fucking take a shower or dumb shit like that. All she does is fucking stream and finger herself, I guess. And he basically said, I'm in sad boy hours every time I think about her, but he says, this is the truth. Pokey would generally only come over if there was something she could tangibly benefit from in some way. Large streaming events, midnight birthday streams, dumb shit like that, furry conventions. It's like the same reason you never saw her come into people's streams at OTV, and when she wasn't streaming, she was also always grinding or practicing whatever game she wanted to get better at for her stream, and she was also fingering herself. Let's rewind a little. He says, let's rewind a little bit to the another instance where I fucked up. Yeah, you fucked up by trying to date her. On July 2018, you remember the Josh story? Yeah, he does it again. I'm not sure if his name is ever mentioned in the stream Pokey made or if he himself made comments on it, but for now we'll call this next guy Steve. This is Fitz. Anyways, after the texting in May when I was at EDC, we slowed down for a short time, but things would eventually start right back up again. By July, we're back in our on-stage, blah, 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 blah. This is a really funny thing to do. He says, during this Steve era, I definitely noticed she didn't seem as interested in me, but always kept giving me enough attention to still have her in my mind. I felt like a starved guinea pig. What the fuck? And my cage was my unconditional feelings for Pokey, and she would feed me scraps, just enough to keep me alive. What the fuck books did you read as a child? Anyway, it is not. If it's not obvious already, I do or say. He says this, if it's not obvious already, I do or say a lot of dumb shit. And in Pokey's stream, she claims that I told Steve not to tell anyone. I said that without thinking first. And anyway, she claims that she told Steve not to tell anyone I said that or talk about it at all, and that is 100%. Sorry for the ears. False! I know what I said. Anyways, he brought my conflicted message up to her. She was furious. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going over it again. I'm gonna cut. Give me a second. I gotta find what I'm looking for. Alright, we're back. He says, I just want to mention that this on and off cycle between us continued throughout the years, and when she'd seen the possibility of dating or even talking to someone else, she'd start to push Fed away. And she would start coming around his room and wanting to be close once again. And at the time, it was very hard for him to resist getting close to her. Because, I mean, Pokey's got a fat fucking coochie. Anyway, he would try to resist getting close to her. We'd eventually be back on to a little bit of a degree. And the sleepovers would resume. The messages would resume. And the flirting in general would resume. Calling Fed cute for literally no fucking reason and acting like a bunch of furries and fingering themselves. Anyway, when he tried to talk to other girls, Pokey became very possessive of Fed, I guess that's how he puts it. And then we're moving on. I'm not talking about the Yvonne situation, even though I said it did. You can look it up later. Basically, Pokey wanted Yvonne gone, but then Pokey was like, nah, Fed wanted Yvonne gone. It's dumb bullshit. Okay, he said I never wanted Yvonne fired. See, that is 100% false. I never tried to get her fired. I always wanted her to a part of OTV, even as a manager and someone who doesn't appear on screen. And then he goes on to what he did with Yvonne, and he never personally brought up the idea that Yvonne should get kicked out of offline TV ever. And he said moving out for Yvonne was a last resort, but still remain in her position as management. Okay, so even if she moved out, she would still be in that position. Pokey, he says that Pokey wanted Yvonne fired, so this is where things get really dicey. We move into the new house, blah, blah, blah. There's text messages proving that. And then they have an intervention where Yvonne gets told to do her job, basically. And then this is where he does all of his, I guess, conclusions, and he says, I'm sober and in therapy. I've learned a lot about myself and my issues. I'm working very hard to address what causes these issues. My relationship with Pokey was a lot more complicated than we were just close. Pokey's relationship with Just Friends, which was a streamer group, was professional, and she used me as a scapegoat for not forming friendships with them, and she isolated herself from them. I told some people we had a thing, and I felt like I was being honest. However, it was wrong because I broke her trust and privacy. I never tried to get Yvonne fired because of the incident between us, but Pokey later does for other reasons. I also want to add I've made similar statements for others, not Yvonne or Lily, and these statements include other dumb shit. Anyway, if you like the video, please enjoy watching other stuff of my content. If you want more of this, like the video, comment what you want me to talk about next. Alright, I'm out. Peace. Bro, all I'm saying is, like, I'm fucking the opportunity to watch Pokey fucking finger herself. I'm going in the room. My god. Oh shit, that's recorded.